Hello everyone, this is Kaz from Conscious Explorers, and a couple of weeks ago I made a video on taking DMT in my dreams. So I've had some time to think about that, and I wanted to share some thoughts. And I also did another experience in my dreams, which was an LSD trip. So I'll give you some thoughts on that and the different kind of ideas that came up from it, which I think it's interesting how different psychedelics, as far as I can understand, they like turn off a piece of your brain. They don't really add something to you, they turn off a little bit of your brain almost, and then you get these fascinating insights. Anyway, one of the things that struck me about the stuff I was saying was that some kind of contradictions that I was feeling. Actually, the first thing I should say is, when communicating with these elves, it's not like they're not talking in words. It's not a clear conversation. The information is coming at you in the most unique, multi-dimensional way. It comes through with colours and sounds. It's hard to put into words. So when I come back and I try and interpret those things, and I might get some of it wrong, so that I just wanted to have that as a bit of a disclaimer. But one of the things that they said, was that there was a simulation going on and that they were observing what was going on there. And I got the impression that they didn't create the simulation. I'm not sure if the DMT space is also a simulation. I sort of think it is. Maybe it's a little bit behind the scenes of this simulation. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's kind of behind the scenes, but maybe still in it. So two things that struck me. How am I going to get all these thoughts into words? I don't know. I'm going to try. I've talked about before that there are different sort of levels of experience that we can have. When we're here, we're on the physical plane. That's a pretty solid level of experience that we're having. But if you're an out-of-body explorer, you'll well know about the different levels that you can experience in those states, like the astral. And there's lower and upper and, different types of different variations of astral. I'm reluctant to use that word, but I use it again and again because it's the one that everyone knows about. The problem with the word is that it comes with a lot of kind of dogma. There's religious stuff in there, and I don't want to load that word with all that necessarily, but I'm going to use the word astral because it's recognizable to those who know. We know what I mean, right? And it's difficult to explain this to people who don't know, but I'll try and do a quick recap. When you go out of body, you can either find yourself in the physical plane, which means that if someone wrote a note in another room, you'd be able to go through the wall, you'd be able to see the note. You see things as if you were there in physical. It's really hard to get on that level for a number of reasons. I can make a whole other video about that. It's not easy. Then there's what some people call I think they call it the etheric or the energetic duplicate. It looks exactly like it, but it's slightly different. I've spoken about this before. You've all heard it before if you followed my videos. And then there's the astral. And the astral has got like this particular colours to it, and there are astral counterparts to everything. So there's an astral version of your house. You can recognise it. It's got a feel, a look, And then there's the mental planes that doesn't have, you no longer have a body. It's much more abstract. Anyway, why am I going into all of this? The reason I'm going into this is because I think that this astral level that you experience out of body is here. This is going to be so hard to explain. Is here on the physical, right? I think that the astral is a level of narrative, of time, of space. Astral is in time and space. Mental planes, as you get beyond that starts to break down. But the astral levels are full of drama. People are often telling me to go to the astral to find information, and I do that. But those spaces are filled with all kinds of things. Some people will say their lower levels are quite demonic and dark, and the higher levels, the opposite. But they're still filled with kind of stories. So I often see things as being astral level, and I think that these sort of DMT and these psychedelic spaces are astral. They're in the astral space, in the astral frequency, if you like. Even though you're taking them and you're still kind of feeling that things are physical, you're still in that frequency. And so that's not the highest source, you know. That isn't the highest source. There is higher source. You know, if you want the purest information, you go even higher. And so I had this experience. I took some acid in my dreams, and when I took it with the intention of helping someone else. The whole experience was purely dedicated. That was my intention, my pure intention. So I wasn't going in for a journey to try and discover things, but I did. Inevitably, things came to mind, and I had such an acute awareness, and I'm going to say some cliche, cheesy things, but it's a real different thing when you really feel it. The acute awareness of how we are all connected, like everything, every single thing that you experience is a part of you. It really is, you know. And just kind of the enormity of that, and yet the bit of you that you're kind of observing, your little perspective. So just imagine this massive being with millions of eyes. That's just how the being is. You're just one of them, but you're still part of it. You know, you might not see necessarily through the eyes of another bit of the being, but you're still part of the same thing. It's getting loads and loads of perspectives like that. And the other thing that, you know, came to me is just how every single moment, you know, is so precious. It's so unique. Like, a moment is like filled with so much. You know, when you're on LSD, you have this sensory superhumanness a little bit, and you can, you know, I ate a nut. Oh my God, the nut. The nut was filled with these rich flavors. You know, it was like wooden, like a forest, and like a fire, and all these sensations. You know, I don't even have the words for it, but it was glorious. You know, and this is just a nut. I would normally just eat the nut and I'd be doing a million other things, but on acid, you know, if you have a good experience, that's kind of how it goes. So, you know, I was struck by how every moment is so unique and so precious, and yet it also at the same time lasts forever. So bear with me, I know I'm saying a lot of things here. So there's this duality. I know some people who I am arguing with currently about this disagree, but I don't see it any other way. I see this duality between the fact that we are all one, and yet we are all separate. You know, we are all different and unique, yet we are all part of one. And every moment, you know, is so precious that it's never ever going to happen again, and yet it's going to last forever. It's there for eternity, you know, in the Akashic records, if you like. And what else? Oh gosh, I can't remember. It's annoying how these things fade. What else? Well, those were the two main ones, and I want to talk about, you know, the things that kind of DMT elves said that were contradictory. On the one hand, you know, there's always been this sense of surrender going into that space, and I've lived my life in few years like that, you know, really like surrendering. What would you like me to do? I don't always pay attention, I don't always do it, but I often go back to that. What would you like me to do? I'll do that. And yet, the DMT elves seemed quite happy as well when I was like showing some dominance, taking control of the situation. And, you know, I just find this everywhere I look now, that both kind of sides are concurrently true. And, you know, the Buddhists talk about the middle way of being like balanced. And how, the middle way is the right way, right? So, you know, and I think they're so spot on, because it seems that, you know, everywhere I'm looking and I see that something's wonderful, and then I can see the flip side of it, and that looks awful. You know, it just seems like there's always the two sides of the coins if you look for them. And I feel that duality is necessary for this reality that we live in. And that in life, you know, if you can really find your peace with that, it makes everything much easier. That was it. That was another insight that came to me. There's nothing to judge. You really can't judge a single thing, because what's really happening is that it's just a perspective that you're taking. That's all. You know, you can pick any topic and look at it like that, you know. So it's just a perspective. So once you're comfortable with that, that gives you real freedom. You know, you can take your sides, you can fight your battles, but you can feel the peace that that's kind of just the way it's supposed to be. There's those noisy birds again. They always seem to jump into my videos. Oh man, anyway, I don't know, this is probably quite waffly, and I don't know if it's giving you anything useful. It's my sincere hope that it is. You know, there's so many questions we can ask. Are the DMTs, elves real? Is the space that we're living in a holographic simulation? Is it right to surrender yourself to source, or is it right to determine your life? And you know, now I'm of the position that actually it's both. It's both. I don't know how to explain it, but it's both. And when I see what's going on in the world, you know, pandemics and viruses, and well, they're the same thing. We all know what's going on in the world. I can see, again, it's both horrific and wonderful. Those realities just are there, and I think they're inescapable. And I think in this respect, you know, there are many narratives. I was just talking to friend Jason, and we agreed on this point. There are many narratives, and they're all kind of existing. So, you know, pick pick one you love and follow it. You know, and put your heart and soul into it. I really do believe that if you follow your heart, you know, it will guide you to where you need to go. And that takes courage sometimes. It does take courage, but yeah, I think you'll be all right if you do that. I think you'll be looked after. So once again, thank you for listening. Apologies if this is a bit of a whirlwind, multi-dimensional conversation. It was always going to be that way. Sending you all lots and lots of love. Thank you.